I have some strong thoughts on this that I will share at the end, but let's dive right in. Trading bullish strangles. Stock markets keep moving higher despite various global uncertainties. That is true. This strength makes bullish option strategies more appealing, like solid naked puts or covered calls, which profit from upward price movement. As you can see, this is a chart of SPX over the years, and I mean, it's nuts. In 2012, we were at 1,000 SPX. Now we're sitting at, what, 7,500. Just crazy gains to the upside. Trading bullish strangles. When examining premium income potential, 30 delta puts typically generate higher premiums compared to 16 delta strangles over extended periods. The premium advantage can potentially lead to better success rates and improved performance during sustained uptrends. So just taking on a little bit more risk in terms of intrinsic value, picking up some more premium by being more aggressive. And a 30 delta put is still pretty significantly out of the money compared to a 16 delta put, but you can ultimately make up for the same amount of premium. And sometimes I say this too, like if you're looking at selling a strangle in a product and you're selling the put for, let's say, $2 and the call for like 50 cents, just get rid of the call and move the put slightly higher. Make up that premium, get rid of the upside risk. And I think that is something that you can do in this situation too. On slide 2, we can show the premium for the 30 delta put relative to the 16 delta strangle. So again, sometimes, and I would say always, if you're selling a strangle, you want to make sure that you have premium on both sides, like meaningful premium on both sides. Otherwise, just move the put up, or if you're bearish, maybe you move the call down, but I don't like selling naked calls personally. But you can make up the premium by just moving the put a little bit higher and removing all risk to the upside there relative to a 16 delta strangle. On the next slide, for those seeking upward participation while maintaining downside hedging, a bullish strangle with net positive delta would be an interesting alternative. How does this adjusted approach compare against traditional delta neutral strangles? Let's find out. We looked at 2 different 45-day SPY strangles over the past 2 decades. So we looked at these 16 delta strangles for your neutral strangle, and then a 30 put 16 delta call strangle with a bullish lean, and closed all positions at 21 days from expiration. The bullish strangles had better returns even though they were a bit more volatile and could lose more money, which makes sense. If you compare a strangle to a straddle, straddles are going to be more volatile, but you're picking up more money, and you can make more just selling straddles because you start with more premium and you can keep more premium if you get the timing right. But put side break even is closer, so market drops have more impact, but the return on capital was better than neutral strangles, and you can see this here. So very similar success rates when you look at the 1 standard deviation versus 30 delta put, 16 delta call on the right. The annualized return on capital was significantly better, so I'll take that all day. Same success rate with almost twice the annualized return on capital. A little bit less return on capital volatility with the neutral strangle, and the largest loss was just a little bit less than your 30 delta, 16 delta setup. But I think when you think about the product you're trading, right? If you're trading the S&P 500, the more it goes down, the more inclined I am to just stay in and take on those deltas, because we've seen the probabilities of reversals to the upside get substantially higher as you go down 10%, 15%, 20%. On the next slide here, we compare the bullish strangle to just selling 30 delta puts. The strangle made less money and had a lower win rate. The call side reduced the profits, but the strangle was less volatile and had smaller maximum losses. It's a compromise that gives us some upside while controlling risk better than naked puts. So just the 30 delta put relative to the 30 delta put and the short call, success rate was higher. Annualized return on capital was higher because you just don't have to deal with the upside at all in this situation. But this is where I kind of want to add in my own layer of complexity here, because I've had success with 2 separate instances of no upside strangles in IBIT, and then also in the micro E-minis, but we can touch on it at the end of the segment here. But yeah, any thoughts on the difference so far with these setups?
No, I'm not surprised. I mean, we saw the chart at the beginning. I know this study has gone back, over the last 2 decades or so. We're looking at market cap weighted indices. So, the biggest companies just get bigger given the passive flow over time. Of course, there can be periods of volatility. We've had large drawdowns as a result, but not really surprised when the majority of investors and the majority of capital flows are buying assets, and there is that positive upward drift over time. I wish I could add more, Mike, but I think you hit on a great point. You go in here and at times you see high volatility, you see high IVR rank, and you want to put on a neutral strategy or a range bound strategy that's going to benefit from that. But in doing so, if you just quickly go in there and you look at, okay, I'm going to do a 1 standard deviation move, I'm going to do 16 delta for my strike selection on both sides. Well, there's the skew that typically exists on the put side. So the puts that are that distance away, the same distance as the calls, are going to be a little bit richer in terms of the price. But quite often in these very low vol environments where you grind higher, it's not like there's massive volatility to the upside, at least not in, say, the S&P 500, maybe in individual names like Micron, which we're seeing today. But quite often, you're just not selling an option for very much money. Yes, you're going to get a larger credit, but you add that risk as it just grinds up. And you go out there, you go out a month and a half, you go out 2 months, you sell that call. Well, a lot can happen in 2 months. And so I am less prone to sell strangles personally than I am just to sell cash secured puts, naked puts, whatever. Because again, quite often, you're just not getting paid to sell that upside risk. And I think as well, we often, I know I do, overlook, well, what is the implied versus realized vol anyways? Is there even much of a premium in there to sell that 40-cent call option that today, with a month and a half to go, is a 1 standard deviation away? But the delta move and the grind higher, even in lower volatility, ends up hurting you. So not surprised.
Yeah, especially in these super strong markets where it's just like up and to the right every single day. Like you're going to take more heat on having a short call, period. And really the only way to get out of that heat is if you do get a sell-off or just a neutral chop to where you can take that premium out. But again, I want to touch on something at the end of this segment real quick. But let's move on to the next slide here. To complete the picture, we also looked at a bearish strangle for comparison. Oh no, we just flipped the deltas from the bullish version to see how it would perform in the same market environment. And I can tell you it's not going to be good. Bearish strangles underperformed both alternatives while showing the lowest volatility among all 3 approaches. Returns were below expectation. This strategy appears to be better suited for traders holding bearish market assumptions or maybe offsetting deltas. Like there's always, a way that you can make this type of thing work holistically, but not in equities, like not in Micron. You're going to have a real hard time if you're doing this in something like that. But again, doing neutral, slightly bullish, slightly bearish strategies, especially undefined risk, it's a lot easier to manage if you're doing it in an index or an ETF that doesn't move 30%, 40% in a day. Like that's when you can get into the troublesome situations. But at the end of the day, still interesting to see that you had a slightly positive annualized return on capital, likely because during those periods of downside movement and just chopping sideways, you had your ability to make some money there. But lower success rate, significantly lower annualized ROC. And of course, it's going to happen when you have this up and to the right market that we've been trading.
Well, also consider you can get near, or at least historically, you've been able to be closer to it at times, not probably over the 20-year period here because we had a period of 0 interest rates. But recently, you can get a 5% or 4% return on capital on your cash position versus like perpetually being kind of betting on the market not going up.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that it's going to go down, but not going up is tough in my opinion.
100%. Couple of takeaways here. Bullish strangles have positive delta exposure, so they perform much better when markets go up consistently. We get higher returns, but also accept more volatility compared to neutral strangles. And the bullish strangle sits strategically between selling naked puts and neutral strangles. We get solid returns from the put side while having much better downside protection and less overall volatility than naked puts alone. And I would take this one step further. IBIT. I had a year-long strangle. I do a year-long strangle every single year in some kind of product. I did it in DraftKings once. I've done it in IBIT. But my whole strategy with IBIT was I will not take upside risk. So even though I had a strangle on, instead of waiting until 21 days and just accepting the upside risk, I would shift the whole thing up. So like if I was tested on the call side, I would shift the entire strangle up. So my short call being tested turned into my short put being tested. And that really opened my eyes to a situation where you can just manipulate the whole thing. And as long as you're comfortable shifting your deltas higher, and for me, if I'm picking up thousands of dollars of premium over the course of a year, I would still rather have my put be in the money, which is going to reflect a covered call risk profile. I'm doing the same thing in the micro minis here this year, where I started with a 6,600, 7,100 strangle at the end of last year. I now have a 7,600 straddle, and it's up $1,600 right now. What's crazy though is I've picked up 534 points of premium, which in SPX terms is $53,000. You could close that trade right now for a net win of 33 grand on one contract into this big rip to the upside. So
and that's through managing your deltas.
Exactly. Yeah. And there is something to be said about having the call on just in case there's a market sell-off. You get the premium out of the call. Even if you're manipulating it higher over and over, you just need one week 5% sell-off and you can buy back that call and just lean along with the short put or manipulate it as you see fit. But yeah, I think this will be a core position that I have going forward, is kind of a blend of this, where I have the bullish lean, but I don't take the upside delta. If my call is getting tested or about to go in the money, I just shift the whole thing up, because especially in a product like the S&P 500, regardless of whether it's an MES or SPX or SPY, you're playing into that up and to the right drift that happens passively over time. You're still collecting more premium by keeping the call on. And even right now, this is still a position where I've made more than 50% of the premium that I've collected this year. And we've already had war sell-off, rebound, like crazy rebound to the upside, but I'm just managing my deltas, never taking on upside risk, shifting the whole thing higher, closing my eyes and just doing it. And it's been a really great trade. So kind of blending everything all at once, but just never taking upside risk in the S&P 500 in a market like this can work out. And it can really help you just offset all of those delta losses that you would have taken if you just let it go.
Absolutely. Yeah, you have to actively manage it. And I want to clear one thing up for Minute Maid in the chat, just asking about what's on the slides here. So in the trading bullish strategy slide 7, I believe, we're looking at the 30 delta put, 16 delta call. So closer there on the put side. And then on the last one, it's just flipped. So you've got the 16 delta put, 30 delta call, and that's the one where we saw a pretty poor return on capital, relatively speaking.
Yep. So yeah, the one standard deviation on slide 9 on the left there is just your neutral strangle, 30 delta put, 16 delta call right next to it, and then 16 delta put, 30 delta call. So you're just leaning slightly bullish or bearish in either direction. But if you can take it a step further and just shift your delta and adjust your delta as it moves, you can really get out of harm's way for the most part. You still got to trade small enough to where you can withstand any variance. That's the key here. But yeah, great segment.